TADSA, which stands for Technology for Ageing and Disability South Australia, makes bespoke solutions for disabled and elderly people where commercial solutions are not available. We like to provide creative engineering solutions for function and performance. We aim to improve the quality of life for people when there is no other solution available. TADSA started back in 1978 and is a non-for-profit organisation. We receive no regular government funding. We have approximately 40 technical volunteers that work from their home workshops with wood, metal, plastics and electronics. Sometimes we need to use the services of commercial businesses for things that are beyond our team's experience. Over the past 47 years, TADSA have made hundreds of different items. Some examples in mobility are attachments to connect various trolleys, carts to wheelchairs so wheelchair-bound clients can safely carry extra equipment, attachments to enable parents to connect prams to their wheelchairs, relocating electric wheelchair controls from the front to the rear to allow carers to control the wheelchair. One of the things that we have helped someone with is the one-handed walker. So we've converted it to have the one-hand brake in the middle, and when I squeeze that, it applies it to both brakes at once. So people can use the one-handed brake. We can make them left-handed or right-handed, and that requires building this assembly here and getting a double brake cable so that it squeezes both at once. So this has a lock here, the handle raises up, and these are 3D printed parts, and we have a steel tube through the middle. So yeah, these are all sort of 3D printed parts, and this enables the walker to also be folded up and put in your boot, and also you can still use it as a seat if you get tired. This locks on here, so it's one of our clever guys, Bruce. He's getting us into the 3D printing. It's a gangplank, so the young fella could get himself out of his wheelchair without having to help. He can just pull in and slide himself down. Skis for a chair, so that you can slide around on the carpet to move in and out. That was a special need for the client that was on the chair. Different eating and drinking aids. This one here is a metered one. We have a couple of pretty clever electronic-y guys that that only squirts so many cc's at a time. Adjustable clotheslines. We've done a couple of these recently in different forms. We often now have a electric actuator. You can buy them. You guys all know of Temu, I suppose, do you? And AliExpress and this sort of thing. You can buy some terrific actuators for not very much money and a power supply, and off you go. So, but that's so someone in a wheelchair can go out, lower their line, hang their stuff on, and put it up in the sunshine. And this was modified because there's no before picture. You might notice, but the legs had to be shortened because it was a very short person, so they cut the legs off and reused the little pins. Oh, I was going to ask you about this before I did this because it's given it away now, but we used to go like, "What is this?" But you've already given it away. So you've got arthritis and you can't squeeze to fill your car up full of fuel. So you put that in the pump, and it gives you that extra leverage to be able to operate it and fill your car up. So.
There's no petrol stations with attendants anymore.
No, absolutely. We've done a couple of different variations of sewing machines. So there's this one here couldn't really work the buttons and the foot pedals, so we've made it the big buttons, so you can go, well, that's the next one, that's a different one. Push the right green here. So you can slow, medium, fast, or stop. So that's how she can use the machine to sew. And then the different variant, this is Alexa slow, Alexa stop. That's the voice control one. And again, these boxes here, the things are 3D printed. So. Excuse me. That's probably zoomed in a little bit, but you get the drift, like the guy sitting in the wheelchair and he's got a rack next to him where his bowls are, so he can still play bowls. This lady wanted to go walking, but she had to have oxygen, so we modified a pram to carry her oxygen bottle for her, so she could just push it along. That's pretty much the addition, what was added to the pram, the setup there. Various different stands, overway beds, laptop tables, lots of that sort of thing. There's quite a complicated one of those. Handrails for the treadmill, bit of safety. This is Trevor, and he built this adjustable art trestle for this lady. That was one of our bigger, I guess, more complicated sort of projects. Often get requests for different sorts of bed poles, stop mattresses falling off beds, to stop the blankets falling off the beds, to get in and out of the beds. And there's usually catches with that, because it's not just for the client, it's also for the carers. Like if it's right there, the carer can't get to them often, so it has to be removable. So often with this one here, it's a bit difficult to see, but it's like a box here with a slot, and that the actual thing just drops into the slot, so it's very easy for the carer to lift it out, do what they have to do, and plonk it back in again. This gentleman was a fisho, and he really wanted to go fishing bad, and he couldn't get in the boat, so we made a lifter to get him in out of the boat. This is the complicated one I mentioned earlier. So there's a quite disabled person, and they could use that mouse stick to work their workstation and dial numbers. And we've also done quite a few chairs. Like a lot of elderly people have the different chair things, but they can't use the controls. So one of our guys, we made a box kind of like this, but it's only got like 6 buttons on it. So it's got like head, leg, tilt, whatever, and it cycles through and has one big button. So when it gets to if they want their headrest moved, when it flashes on head, they push the button and the head will move until they let it go again. And then if they want to move their legs, they wait till it goes onto the legs. So it just cycles around all the time. So that works quite well. We've done that for 2 or 3 clients since I've been there who have got motor neuron disease, and they just can't navigate those small buttons on the cable. Modified some toys with different sound effects or things like that. A lot of these walkers type things, there's people who need arm support, so we make those in all different shapes and sizes depending on arm lengths and disabilities. That's pretty self-explanatory. Yeah, just a bracket to fit their walker on the back. I actually did a job for a lady out at Thompson's Beach who had a bag work accident with her leg. So, and she had like a Queenslander house out there. So I've got to climb up the stairs to get into her house. And so she had a scooter, but then she could still walk around with crutches. But she had the big ski-type crutches, had the big feet on the bottom. So she couldn't fit them into a normal crutch holder on the back. So I made a crutch holder with big holes at the back so she could put them on the back of her scooter when she went to town. And also I made a crane for her as well because she couldn't get her groceries up the stairs. She could hobble up with her crutches, but how can you carry anything? So I got we try and keep it fairly simple, I suppose. There's a gorilla crane you can buy from Bunnings. So it's just like a little gantry, and you can use it to mount on the back of your truck to lift things up with a winch. You can get a winch for it. So I got a boat winch and mounted it on that and mounted it up on her balcony. So she would swing it out and lower it down before she went to the shops. When she came back, hook her groceries on, climb up and wind her groceries upstairs. So yes, you have to just try to be a bit innovative like inventors, I guess. So yeah. Medical mounts. This is an extension arm here, so the client could operate that and use this to release the railing on the side. A ramp to get in a car, out of a car. That we've done lots of those in various ways. We've also done some kids need access to pools, but they're above ground pools and they can't, so we make steps and ramps so they can get up and have a swim. This is similar to the other one I showed you with control, but this actually just swings out the way, so it's easier for transfers between vehicles and so forth. 3D little additions to the mouse for better finger control. Adjustable overweight tables. This was for a person with only one leg, so they can get in, put their bum on there, and they're up at the right height to attach their false leg. We've done 3 of these this year, and so if you can imagine, if you're in a cot and you want to get at your baby, normal cot that goes up and down, how do you get up to get into your baby? So these are got sliding doors, so you can open the doors high enough to get your wheelchair underneath, and you can get the baby, attend to the baby, close the doors, and on your way. So yeah, we've done 3 of those this year. They've 3D printed controller for us. I understand this lady used to like to use Libby. It's a reading, I think, for a computer, I think. So she had the big button to pause her and keep reading her. I'm not sure whether it's audio or
Libby is the library app.
a library app.
It's the app where you borrow books from the library. I just got the book that says Libby Switch. Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah.
It's a library app.
Yeah, again, she didn't have the dexterity to be able to use the control, so the button, pause, play. Couple of rugby / hockey, indoor hockey for wheelchair people. There's quite a big competition in Australia for wheelchair rugby and so forth. We were actually in Darwin a couple of weeks ago doing a bike thing up there. It was a big expo for all the disabled kids in Darwin, and they have got a big following up there, and they brought along about 20 wheelchairs for those, and all the kids just got in them and went crazy. They had such a blast, and they play this game called tag, and so you wear a bib and you have a Velcro tag on each arm, and they say go, and you've got 3 minutes, and the one at the end, when after the 3 minutes, who's got the most tags they've stolen off other people's shoulders, they're the winners. So it was quite good fun. So this is a bit the serious side of things. I suppose I did outline to you before the process, the general process of it. We provide a quote, and the volunteer is we are paid back for our material costs of whatever we had to buy, and they give us a bit of travel allowance if we have. Sometimes you might have to travel to Seaford or wherever, so they reimburse that for us, and we charge we do charge a service charge on top of the jobs, because we don't get any government funding. We've had a few grants, as say a grant for the 3D printer, and a couple of grants that got us to Darwin to do that thing for the bike. Without the grants, we couldn't do those sorts of things. So we don't get any funding. So that's what keeps the lights on in the office. That pays Tracy's wage, the manager, and covers our rent and electric bill, IT bill, etc., etc. So this is the Freedom Wheels side of the business I mentioned to you earlier. So we have a bunch of bikes, and we fit all different various accessories depending on what the client's need is. Some of the kids need their feet restrained, some don't. There's one young lass, I think, on here that she can't pedal, but she could use two at once, so we locked the pedals together. And this is a video which I might get you to hit the button, please.
Well, sometimes it doesn't take much to change a life. You're about to watch it happen as a group of youngsters begin at great risk of smile.
It's a rite of passage for every kid to ride goodbye. But the hand that's been dealt to Joe has denied him that, so he just watches his sister down the driveway. But not for much longer. In this modest room, little lives have changed, and today, it's Jacob's turn. Trepidation will soon give way to some respect, for as an anxious mum looks on, a team of mainly volunteers crafts a bike for Jacob. Off he goes. He's pushing the pedals, and there comes a smile. Annalise joins him, and for the first time, they're riding together.
That's I never thought he would actually ever do that.
It is a moment these parents will never forget.
For someone who's in a wheelchair, to see them actually ride on, it's just the joke. It's really cool.
Oh, that's absolutely. It's hard not to get emotional when you witness what happens here. Yeah. Doesn't it? It even gets to volunteers like Bob. He's working on the frame for Alex, who's just arrived with his mum in this pretty big contraption that helps him walk, but not ride.
It's a really tricky thing to do because you've got a little boy strapped into a bicycle. You don't want anything to happen to him. And on the basis of the wheels, got to be right, the machinery's got to be right, and the leg's got to be just smooth.
Winston, the therapist, makes sure Alex is sitting correctly. There's Pete, the tape measure, an engineer by trade.
I just got to get it in the leg.
Alex's feet, hands, head and pelvis must sit right, and then it's tough.
It's the most important thing to do. You see instant results.
To see another little boy with limbs that just won't cooperate until he gets on with fun.
It's unbelievable. Really, just to have your child experience the freedom to ride a bike and be outside and enjoy the sunshine. This is just beyond your strength, really.
That smile never went away there. No. Have a look. You see Mike left waiting, and according to Joy Barrett, head of technical aid for the disabled, there's plenty more.
Only 200 children a year want the modified bikes. and it's becoming a very popular line and really exciting for the children. How's that, right? Look at that smile. Yeah, it's so grateful.
It went on like myself today.
You don't know about what I say.
It was late, he was clear in his haircut, and older, like Joe, went home that day with a new bike. Another little boy just got one up on his disability.
What a lovely story. Brady Halls with that wonderful program. It only survives it's a public donation, so if you would like to help, just contact us and we will gladly give you the details.
There we go. That's it, good, thanks. Yeah, so there's lots of kids that put a smile on their dial. They really like doing all that sort of stuff. I guess one thing I did miss earlier because I said that we don't get any government funding. The model changed back in about 2018 or 19 when the NDIS came in, because prior to there, in the years prior, like TADSA had a workshop and we were funded under the health scheme, and then when NDIS came in, they said, oh well, you guys don't need a workshop anymore and you don't need funding anymore because you'll recoup all your funding via NDIS. But probably don't need to fill you in on the gaps there, because it's just, you know, ultimately most of these clients for us do pay out of their NDIS, but sometimes they have to wait 6 months to get approval, and is it this, and it doesn't meet the criteria, and so we just want to get on and do the help. We don't want all the paperwork and all that has to go behind it, I guess. So we get requests from OTs, from clients themselves if they're able to, the carers, hospitals. We work a bit with Novita, because Novita have got quite a big workshop and do quite special engineering-y stuff. But if it's something within our scope and they've got a lot of stuff on, they might ask us to help out. And similarly, we refer a lot of people, like people come to us and they've got a lifter that they want fitted to their car and things like that. Well, we don't touch vehicles because there's too many safety regulations with loading and balance and wiring and lots of stuff. So there's two fairly big companies in Adelaide who do that, one down south, one up north, so we'll refer to them. We also get some referrals from the disability care providers like ADA Care and stuff, who sell frames and wheelchairs and lots of stuff. If people go there for a wheelchair, but we've done a few, give you an example, amputees, their stump hangs out and hangs down, so we'll try and fit a stump support to a standard wheelchair, but you might not be able to, generally you can't really buy them that are custom made, so now we've got the ability to 3D print to their shape and so forth. So we do try and work a bit with the other sectors, trying to get the word out to everybody that we are there. Is brain injuries.
What's NPOT?
That's the name of the organisation in the return to work sector.
Yes, correct. Yeah. So, inventors. We're always looking for new members. People with good ideas on how to make a left-handed rat catcher or things like that.
That man builds anything.
And I've got some brochures here which you're welcome to have afterwards, because this just tells you over an overview of what I've been explaining to you. And on the back it's got our website and so forth. So if you might not have any interest, you might have a mum who needs a stump support for a wheelchair, so just let them know to go online, and there's a button there that says, how can we help? Technical inquiry, fill in your details, and that's all you have to do with that. And that's us. Thank you very much.